The last one for us. This is what we call hyperbola graph. Okay, this one can be in the form of a over x or y equal to a over x plus q. Wow, but now you understand what is q stand for. Y equal to q, this will give you what we call asymptotes, right? But now we have a here. If you take this one and you cross multiply, this would give you a equal to x times y. So there's something important here. If your x is negative and your y is negative, so obviously this would be positive. Now according to the graph, we know our x here is negative, our y is also negative. So when you say negative some negative, this will give you positive. So if our a is greater than 0, it means you will have something like this in this quadrant. And again, if you say positive times positive, obviously this will give you positive. And we know that our x here is positive, also our y is positive. So when you say positive and positive, this will give you positive. So this will give you something like this. So now this says if your a is obviously greater than 0, if your a is positive, then your curves would be here on the first quadrant and the third quadrant. Obviously, if your a is less than 0, meaning your a is negative, take an example, you have negative 2 over x, and you can see that your a here is negative. So this would be something like this. If you say negative times positive, obviously it will give you negative. If you say positive times negative, this will give you negative as well. So which means this would be something like this. Okay. This is your graph. Now, so what is important with a? It will give you the shape of the graph to say, if your a is greater than 0, your curve will be here at first and the third. But if your a is less than 0, it will be in the second and the fourth quadrant. Okay, let's look at 2 examples here. Okay. The first example, let's say you have f equal to 2 over x, and obviously you are required to sketch this graph. I always encourage you to say, if you have one term, you always use the table method. Let's put negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, let's put negative 2 here. This will give you, if you say 2 divided by negative 2, obviously this will give you negative 1. If you put negative 1 here, this will give you negative 2. If you put 0, that's very important. 2 divided by 0, that is undefined. Okay, if you put 1 here, this will be 2 divided by 1, that will give you 2. If you say 2 over 2, that will give you 1. So that is what is important. Then let's sketch this graph. Okay, what we are expecting here, since our a is greater than 0, is for our curve to be here. The first thing that we have to take note is that for your asymptote, obviously it's 0 because there is nothing. Now let's check. We have 1 and 2. We have negative 1 and negative 2. And here you also have 1 and 2. This is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. Negative 1 and negative 2. Right. Here, when x is negative 2, obviously y is negative 1. So it's something like this. This is your point. When your x is negative 1, this is negative 2. Oh, that's your point. Oh, yes. We said our curve should be here. So this will give you something like this. This is our graph. Okay. This one is undefined. You forget about this one. When your x is 1, your y is 2. Okay, that's our point. When your x is 2, obviously your y is 1. So this should be something like this. And our curve obviously is on the first quadrant, which means we are correct. Can indicate at least 2 points. Okay, that is that. Now the last example for today. Okay, let's say now you are given a very similar function, which is 2 over x, but now plus 1. So this one means the graph is shifted 1 unit up. It shifted 1 unit up. But this one, we know this would give us what we call asymptotes, which means our asymptote is 1. All right? Then let's look at our table. Let me write our table here. Okay. Let's put negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. If you put negative 1 here, let's start with negative 2. If you put negative 2, this will give you negative 1 plus 1, that will give you 0. If you put negative 1, this will be negative 2 plus this one, obviously this will be minus 1. If you put 0, this will give you undefined. If you put 1, this will be 2 over 1, which is 2, plus 1, that is 3. If you put 2, this will be 2 over 2, that is 1 plus 1, that will give you 2. So that's all. Now sketch your graph. We said this one is our y-axis, this is our x-axis, that's the starting point. Now, since we have what we call asymptotes, we have to start with it. So which is 1. We indicate 1 here. Then we set our asymptote is a dotted line, which is y equal to 1. But we have, let's look at our scale, we have negative 2 and 2, we have up to 3 for this one. So which means we can say this is 1, 2, this is 3. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. This is 2 and 3. Obviously negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Wow. For this one, this is positive. Now the graph is shifted. This is no longer our original, but it shifted to this point, which means now this is our first quadrant. Okay. And obviously this one is our third quadrant. Since we said if A is positive, this will be on the first and the third quadrant. Now, let's look at it now. When your x is negative 2, your y is 0. Negative 2, your y is 0. Here is a point. Negative 1 and negative 1. Here is negative 1, here is negative 1. That's your point. So, which means this will be something like this. This is our curve. Then 0, we forgot about 0 because that's undefined. 1 and 3. This is 1 and 3. And 2 and 2. This is 2 and 2. Wow, you join this 2. Wow. That is our hyperbola. Now, the last one, the very last, let's look at the one now where we have negative. We want to see the shape of this one. Okay, let me take the easiest one. Let's say you have f equal to negative 3 over x. Okay, let's look at our table. This is x, this is y. Okay. But please don't forget that you can alternatively use your calculator. Let's start with negative 3 here. There's no need of putting 2 because that will give you the number with the comma, so let's put negative 1, 0, 1, and 3. Let's put negative 3 here. Obviously, this will give you 1. If you put negative 1 here, this will give you positive 3. You put 0, that is undefined. If you put 1, negative 3. You put 3 here, this will give you negative 1. Now let's look at those, correct? Obviously this is our y, this is our x. Obviously this is plus 0, which means this is our asymptote. Okay, now we have negative 3 to 3, which means this is 1, 2, this is 3, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. This is negative 1, negative 2, this is negative 3. But since this one is negative, we expect our curve to be in these two quadrants, which is the second and the fourth. Let's check this one. When your x is minus 3, your y is 1. Oh, there is 1, there is 3. Good. When this one is negative 1, this would be 3. Wow, yes, our curve is here. So this will give us something like this. Right. 0 and undefined, let's forget about that one. 1 and negative 3, here is your negative 3. And 3 and negative 1, this is 3, here is negative 1. So this would be something like this. Wow. So that is what we call hyperbolic function. Let's stop there for today. Say file.